surprisingly, almost 10% of all American seniors live in a 55 plus community. But 55 plus communities are not the right match for all of us. So, in today's video, I want to share with you 5 reasons to think about maybe not living in a 55 plus community. And the first one is boy, there sure are a lot of rules and regulations with 55 plus communities. Now, a lot of this is based on the HOA, the Homeowners Association, but yeah, there's something magical in both a good way and a bad way that happen when older people get together in a group and there's people that have retired, they've given up their position of authority. Maybe they were a supervisor at work, and they're looking for their next thing. And their new thing might be torquing you and really giving you a hard time about the rules. For instance, the rules in a 55 plus community can actually say, how many guests you can have over, what the ages of those guests are, and how long somebody under the age of 18 can stay. So if you've got grandkids, if you've got younger grandkids, there could be big restrictions. The HOAs often also say how many vehicles you can have, the type of vehicles, whether you can have a golf cart or you can't have a golf cart. So for sure, you want to look at the meeting notes. You want to look at the financials for the HOA just to make sure that the HOA is healthy. A lot of 55 plus communities are in Florida, and Florida has some new HOA rules that are forcing a lot of HOAs to do special assessments. And if there is going to be a special assessment, maybe they say all the homeowners, all the unit owners need to pay an extra $30,000, $50,000. Boy, you really or more, you really wanna know that before you sign up, for that HOA. So, sorry, there's a squirrel that just jumped from the roof to the tree. You wanna know that before you buy the house, and look at the meeting notes. Hopefully, you can get a feel for, what types of things are being discussed, what types of things are important to the folks that are gonna be your neighbors once you move in. Okay, speaking of HOAs can be expensive, and that's, the negative number 2, right? One of the reasons we're drawn to HOAs is, they tend to have nice amenities. They have a pool, they might have a fitness center, they may have, free drinks on Friday, happy hour. There's lots of amenities that attract us. There may be a golf course that's associated with it, but that stuff is also expensive. So maybe the first 10 years when we retire, we're really enjoying the happy hour and the pool and the fitness center and maybe the golf course. But later on, maybe we no longer are using it as much as we thought we would. But you know what? We're still paying for that. We're still paying for the free drinks for everybody else. So that's the next thing. Uh, Another issue is there can be cliques in 55 plus communities. When I talk to people that have joined 55 plus communities, that can be one of the big negatives is, if you're part of that clique, that may be good. But if you're not part of that clique, you can feel excluded. And so in many ways, it's kind of going back to some of the childish behavior, the youthful behavior of high school, where, you're in the in crowd or you're not in the in crowd. You're invited to the 7 a.m. water aerobics class or you're not invited. So, I want you wherever you decide to go, I want you to feel like, it's your community. You belong there. So that's the next thing I want you to be careful of. The other thing is, speaking of cliques, as we get older, unfortunately for me, there's fewer and fewer men that, live beyond 80. And so it's not unusual for in these 55 plus communities for the ratio of women to men to be 2 to 1, 3 to 1. So if you're single, if you're hoping to meet somebody, a 55 plus community can be a super competitive place for a woman. Now, if you're a man and you stay healthy, in your mid to late 80s, the odds, maybe for the first time in our lives, the odds are in our favor. So, but just be aware of that. Okay, another thing just has to do with the finances, right? Um, Most of us, when we look at 55 plus communities, again, we're going to be drawn to the amenities, the fitness center, the pool, how newly paved the golf cart pathways are, things like that. And so, what can end up happening is when you buy in, you're looking at the new developments. And of course you are. For a little bit more, you can have a brand new fitness center, you can have a brand new pool. But the challenge is after we've lived there for 15, 20, 25 years, when it comes time to sell that, now there's a new property down the street from us, and that's the one that's attracting all the new buyers. And so it can be hard to sell in a 55 plus community once you've been there 20, 25 years. Um, just because you're not the shiny new object in town, okay? And then the next one is just speaks to, the lack of age diversification. Some of us really thrive. I really enjoy being around young people. Now, my wife haven't and I to date have not moved into a 55 plus community, but we haven't made the final decision on that yet. So I don't know if it's going to be the right move for us yet. We still haven't picked what we call our forever town. Where we want to live in retirement. We lived for 25, 30 years in a small ski town outside of Salt Lake City, and we moved to Seattle to be closer to our youngest daughter or outside of Seattle, and we haven't picked our forever town. It may be Seattle, it may not be, but right now, I enjoy hanging out with younger people, and I know a lot of my viewers do too, and we enjoy going for walks in the evening and seeing young families go for a walk with their kids on their scooters and tricycles. It's just good to be I think it's good to be around people of all ages. It's also good to be around a community of people that are like-minded, and that's one of the keys, having been a financial advisor. I'm now retired myself, but one of the important things is having relationships and keeping your fighting, ending up being isolated. Do everything that you can to avoid being isolated, and for some people, the best way to plug in is with a group of other people their age, and for other people, the best way to plug in is to be in a community of people that are around their age. Regardless of which path you go, I think it's important that we enjoy the journey until we retire, and that's why I made this video up here, which talks about 8 things to stop doing in your 60s to enjoy your journey until you get to retire. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.